Welcome to Podadelphia. My name is Dave Diorio. You can find me on Twitter at @fat_lobster, and I'm joined by a couple of Christmas and Easter Catholics. What's up, Nico and G?
How you doing, Dave? Do you want to start the show off with a blessing?
No, not really. I do want to start off.
We're getting in the nitty gritty of this thing called.
Have I discussed on the show that Easter is my least favorite holiday of all the holidays?
And why is that? Is there a reason behind it?
I don't like. So I generally don't like the Easter food.
Okay,
so that's one thing. Like ham.
It has nothing to do with the kind of juxtaposition between a bunny giving out candy and Christ.
No, I'm gonna get into it, but first, it deals. I'm not a big fan of the food. I think other holidays just have much better food. Even like 4th of July, I'll take food. The other thing is the clothing. I don't like the clothing you have to wear on Easter.
Those in between outfits. It's that in between weather.
Yeah, there's a great chance you'll be either too hot or too cold.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really like a pastel, preppy kind of person.
Yeah, you got to be
generally uncomfortable on Easter, and it's like a mandatory like go to church thing, like to make everyone happy. So you got to go to church. You're uncomfortable all day. It's cold. It's also hot. The food is like, take it or leave it.
Yeah. Okay.
The kids are all hopped up on sugar. It's just a
lot of highs and lows on that.
Yeah. My gripe is that it falls on a Sunday and you don't get like the bonus Monday off. Usually,
no time off involved.
Yeah, you just get Sunday, and
Easter
then you have to
is
work.
A buffer. I feel like Easter Monday is kind of like that buffer holiday. Like some.
I've never worked for a company that gave me off on Easter Monday.
I had a company give me off for Good Friday before.
Now, do the kids in Catholic school, do they get off on Easter Monday?
No.
You could use it. Man.
No, they're
the
back.
The closest thing I ever had was at my last job. We had to deal a lot with Switzerland, and the Swiss love religious holidays. So we were really, really dead on Good Friday. Like,
the Swiss miss.
The Swiss
were partying like crazy on Good Friday. Or they were not. They were observing religiously. But whatever. I don't know. By the way, I don't know if anybody has been following. But we do have a Twitter account here for the show, and it's at Podadelphia. So it gets posted on infrequently, but whenever we do post to it, it is usually a gem. But really,
I really should make that like my primary sports tweeting account instead of always doing it under my own name. But
I do try to like shout out our account. But anyway, you can follow me on Twitter at Producer Gene. And my name is Gene Zelak, and that's how you can find the show is at Podadelphia.
Nico, you plugging any personal accounts these days?
I've got no personal accounts, and I was just saying,
man.
Maybe I have time. Maybe I can make time.
You are
in my life.
You're as the
to become your media relations liaison. Your liaison to the generations behind you.
You are as pure as the Easter Bunny's fluffy white tail.
I'm freshly showered, tarried. I took my contacts out. I'm comfortable. I'm watching the Sixers win by, it shrunk to 11 again with 3 ticks left. But it's looking good. So, heck of a game by Maxey tonight.
Shall we start with said 76ers today?
I think we should.
No pressure. No pressure.
Nico is
dressed for sporting the 76ers logo upon your bosom. So,
it's a lot tighter this year than it was last year. I'll take it.
Let's start there. We're like, So we got a couple things to talk about with the Sixers today. So
we're not going to talk about my weight gain. All right.
Yeah, let's get off of the weight gain.
I was going to do an impression of my zipper.
I thought it was just sympathy weight gain for me. If I was gaining weight, you felt like you needed
I take on everybody else's problems. And
yeah, I like it. So the Sixers. What do you make out of this most recent like straw poll or whatever that really has Embiid behind Jokic now in the MVP race? Do you care? Do you think Embiid's the MVP?
No. Yeah, of course Embiid's the MVP. This is the NBA's way of controlling how the Sixers use Embiid down the stretch. They want Embiid on the court. The NBA needs Embiid on the court because he's a story. He's the cornerstone of the franchise. He's the most visible Sixer aside from James Harden. They want to see what Embiid and James Harden do. I feel like it's like the NBA gods trying to kind of manipulate and control a little bit. Oh, let's spin a yarn here and say that Embiid isn't the front runner anymore. That'll get him on the court for sure. And then obviously guarantee it maybe some great basketball. That was my take.
I like that take.
Really?
I mean, I like that take over the other take that's just like, well, if you look at the advanced metrics.
Oh yeah, boring. Come on. Let's get emotional.
Gene, what's your take on this whole thing?
Well, I really get irritated because you're comparing two very different positions. I mean, Jokic is a
they play the same position though, right?
Well, they do play the same position, but I want to hear what Gene has to say because maybe they do have different interpretations of the position.
Well, it's one of those things where he sort of leads plays the offensive part of the game very differently. I was not thinking of Jokic. I'm thinking of what's his name in
Giannis.
Yes, thank you. Because he's more of a power forward, I guess, the
Right.
way that he plays. So I mean, it's interesting that the NBA is sort of leaning towards these bigger guys to be your MVP. I think it's sort of a shift in the NBA itself that it's getting sort of away from the Steph Curry led teams. And what it really comes down to is if you look across the entirety of the season, the Sixers are not in a position that they are in. They are probably not a playoff team if they do not have Joel Embiid. Do we think that any of these other candidates, any of their teams, are still probably playoff teams if said candidate, Giannis, Jokic, are not on those teams? I think that they probably are. I think that they're constructed in such a way that they would have still been playoff teams. Joel Embiid did not have James Harden the entirety of the season. Joel Embiid has only had James Harden since the end of January, the end of February. So he was sort of shouldering the entire burden of being the sole sort of star player on this team for most of the season. Tyrese Maxey has sort of come into his own because of the other moves that they've made. But I think that if you take
Tyrese Maxey
7 3-pointers in the first half. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But if you look at what the actual most valuable player sort of means, are we talking about the most valuable player to the NBA or the most valuable player to his team? And I think that the interpretation has always been the most valuable player to his team. And anybody with half a wit about around them or an idea of what's going on for this Philadelphia 76ers, you have to see that Joel Embiid is the most valuable player to the Sixers and the most valuable player on a team in the NBA. The Sixers go nowhere without Joel Embiid.
Not to mention dealing with everything else that they were dealing with off the court, the whole Ben Simmons saga and the mental health and how, he was kind of obviously being orchestrated by the organization to kind of like lead, say certain things in certain times to kind of keep things smooth. Do you guys think the James Harden trade actually hurt Joel Embiid's MVP case or muddied it a bit?
Yeah, it probably made it a little more complicated because if the Sixers were in the position that they're in now without Harden still dealing with the Ben Simmons drama, if they were still having the success that they're experiencing now with really just Embiid doing the whole thing on his back, then the case would be closed, I would think. I mean, the case that is being made for Jokic is that his supporting cast is down, like they're injured. He's like the big show there, and the only thing keeping him afloat. I mean, look, the NBA. I don't know. To me, it's very offensive focused. There's not a lot of like, well, let's look at this player like holistically. What do they do on defense? How do they what is the context of their team? A lot of it's just looked at face value, and over the years, I think it's been like, hey, who puts up the points?
Right.
But in this year, to talk about like if you look at it in that context. It's still Embiid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still Embiid. Like LeBron's leading the league right now with 30.3 points per game. His team's not making the playoffs, so you can basically eliminate him there. Embiid is number 2 at 30.2 points per game. Giannis is number 3 at 30.1 points per game, and Jokic is number 9 at 26.8 points per game. So, I mean, even if you're looking at a strictly offensive standpoint, it's a Giannis Embiid race, not necessarily a Embiid Jokic race. If you want to bring in like defensive metrics, I mean, like as an offensive player, I think I would rather go up against Jokic than I would rather go up against Embiid. If I was an offensive player, not this guy, because it would be pointless either.
Not Dave Fiorio.
Yeah, Dave Fiorio going up against either one would be a.
You know, I've known you for a long time. There have been moments where you have been an offensive player, but you know,
we're all friends. You may be talking about my driving.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, first time I met you, man. Oh, this is my car. It's called the Intimidator. Amazing, of course. I want to be friends with this guy. Nickname
legendary.
Yeah, you have to be a defensive driver, but I think the best defense is a good offense.
No, but not to belabor your point, but I want to reinforce it. Like you're spot on there. You know, if we are going by points, this is Embiid and Giannis's race. But you know, what Gene just said too, all of the intangibles that Embiid has been offering off the court, compounded with everything that he's doing on the court on a nightly basis and still doing it. I don't know how you can overlook that. The body of work this year says MVP, most valuable player to his specific organization. If Embiid hadn't been doing what he was doing this year and continuing to do so, I mean, this place would have been a dumpster fire. Harden would never came.
Yeah. Do you think that there's any truth? Well, I mean, I think we probably all think that there's some truth in this, but the other day, Joel Embiid, I think it was after the performance he had against Charlotte, he was asked, you know, do you think that you're the MVP, or do you wonder why there's any question about you being the MVP? And his response was something to the effect of, well, the NBA has a bias against Philadelphia. I don't know why, but that, you know, to me, it seems like that the NBA just doesn't give the same respect to players from Philadelphia that they do other places. Do you think that that's something that you want your MVP candidate saying? Would you rather him just let his performance talk? Or, I mean, are we at a point, or is Joel Embiid at a point in his career where he can say something like that and be like, look, here's my body of work. Here's what I've done this season. If you're saying that I'm not the MVP and I'm playing at the level that I am, the only thing I can say is there's got to be some sort of bias against me.
Well, I think in the NBA more so than really any other league, the MVP award, it's almost like an Oscar. You have to lobby for it. You have to put your product in front of the eyeballs of the voters as much as possible. That's why it's important to play in, you know, when you're the only game on TNT that night, that's the night you have to show up more so than, you know, any other night. When you're the Saturday afternoon game or the Sunday afternoon game on ABC, or you have to show up. I mean, like those are the games that like most people are watching, and those are the games that are going to get talked about at the water cooler back when we were standing around water coolers.
You know what the best part about Joel Embiid is, though, is the fact that every time that he does open up his mouth, it's the truth.
Pearls.
It's the truth. I mean, he's not saying anything that we're not thinking. Now, I know we're biased because we're Sixers fans, but if you weren't a Sixers fan and you're an NBA fan and you're following all the games, I mean, is there anything that Embiid is saying that isn't true, that isn't warranted? I mean, yeah, there's a bias against Philly sports. Of course, there's always been. Everybody kind of has this notion and idea of what the Philadelphia sports market's all about, right?
But also it's like, I feel like there's also like a turn, like it's your turn kind of thing in the NBA sometimes too. Like every big player needs to have an MVP award. And I feel like it kind of just like goes around. It'll come back to guys, you know, again. But it's important for the league to have all of these guys have an MVP award, I think. So, you know, I don't really know that the MVP award in the NBA is a truly like I know it's not objective. Of course it's subjective, but I don't know that it's truly authentically subjective. I think that there's like a lot of like motives behind it. But
yeah, there's a lot more politicking, I think, than maybe you have in some of the other.
Maybe that's a better way.
I mean, obviously, baseball, you have a much bigger sort of body of work. I think that in the NFL in particular, there is certainly a quarterback bias. How many times are you going to see, there's whole positions on the field that will never have a chance at being an MVP. You're never going to have an offensive guard be the MVP of the league. In the NBA, any of the guys that play any of those 5 positions could have an MVP type year. It's sort
Do
of
you think if a
the most democratic.
Do you think if a place kicker kicked 3 60-yard field goals every game and had a 100% field goal percentage, they would ever even be in the conversation for most valuable player?
Of course,
I think they would.
Be in the conversation.
Yeah, I think they'd be in the conversation, but I still don't. I mean, they would. I think they would. I think that even with that, you would still lose to a quarterback.
They'd be like, "Well, we should probably just give it to Tom Brady anyway."
That would be amazing for fandom, though.
But Tampa Bay went 3-13. Yeah, but we should probably.
And I always thought Donnie Jones was the heart and soul of that Eagles special teams unit.
You're not wrong.
Donnie Jones?
No, Donnie Jones, not the Donnie Jones.
Oh,
the whole different thing. Donnie Jones was the best dressed Eagle on that special.
I love a bow tie.
He was very tie. And I appreciate that too. I love the outfits.
All right, let's move on from the MVP conversation.
No.
We got a lot to get through today. We haven't been off for like
buried in the
ground. We got a lot to talk. Ben Simmons, back issues, shut down for the year, and also the play-in tournament. I want to throw this out there. And what would be the percentage you would put at that Ben Simmons never plays basketball ever again for the NBA?
It's got to be high. I think there's a better than 50% chance.
Wow, really?
Never plays for the Nets, dude. I mean,
I would agree that it's high, maybe that he never plays for the Nets, but
for having to face the media and defend him this much. I mean, man.
Look.
If I'm Steve Nash, I'd bring his neck. Get out.
I'm on Nets Twitter almost as much as I'm on Sixers Twitter, and he's running out of goodwill.
They're going to be booing him out of Brooklyn just like they did.
It's what's funny is he's filed this grievance to try to recoup the money from the Sixers. I'm waiting for the Nets to try to recoup money that they paid him since the trade because it's so ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I think what he's trying to do is just drain anyone for as much money as humanly possible, and then he'll never play again.
It's one of those things where, like Nico was saying, I think it's maybe high that he never plays for the Nets, but never plays basketball again. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna play at some point.
Yeah, pop up.
But I would say it's better than 10% that he maybe never plays again.
If I'm right, I'm taking this clip and I'm like just playing it on a loop in front of my house.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that we're even having the conversation, like seriously considering the fact that Ben Simmons, a number 1 pick who was, less than 12 months ago in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, now all of a sudden we're talking about the fact that he may never play basketball again. I mean, there's a chance that Markelle Fultz could log more NBA games than Ben Simmons at some point, which I think is an insane thought. That's even a thing.
I forgot he existed. I totally forgot about Markelle Fultz.
Yeah,
for a little bit there. I was wondering why I felt so good about life.
The list of broken mental Philadelphia draft picks
here in Philly. No wonder we have that stigma that Embiid's talking about.
It's long. How about what Jim Irsay said about Carson Wentz? Speaking of
fire. He basically was like, look, man, if I'm going to pay you and you got to beat the worst team in the league, no offense, Jacksonville.
No offense.
He basically said that. He's like, I mean, it's Jacksonville, but, you got to beat Jacksonville to get into the playoffs. You could just tell. He was 100%. so mad at Carson Wentz. So
100%.
mad.
And all the rumors about him being a locker room cancer come right up into fruition. And you know what? He went out to Indy. I actually thought it was going to be like a happy ending for Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I thought so did too.
For Frank Reich, and you know what I mean? Midwest kind of like staple market.
Yeah, we're going to come back to Carson Wentz in a second because I do have We do have some Eagles talk, but wrapping up the Sixers right now, we are in the 4 seed, and if the playoffs started today, we'd be playing the Chicago Bulls,
I actually really like that matchup.
and then we would be playing the winner, theoretically, if everything lined up correctly, the winner of Miami Atlanta.
Which I also would rather have that. You know, that's
I heart
That's-
that matchup. Those matchups.
that's what I want. You
Love
avoid
those
Boston.
matchups.
You avoid hopefully you avoid Brooklyn and Boston till early. You let Brooklyn and Boston sort of wear each other down somewhere in there.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, so yeah,
The only thing would be
Brooklyn's
better if there was a way we could
theoretically
play
not in
Cleveland.
this because they're like the 10th. Like they're just putting Atlanta as the winner of
the play-in.
Yeah, so like this, like if the playoffs started today thing has Cleveland at 7 and Atlanta at 8. So yeah, I mean, like, look, I feel good. I feel good against Atlanta. I feel good against Miami. I feel good against Chicago. I feel good against Cleveland.
Yeah.
I feel kind of good against the Nets. They're kind of like weird right now.
Yeah.
Feel good about the Pacers.
I don't like this
honestly,
Toronto. This Toronto thing is freaking me out. Like playing
I don't like
Toronto in
Toronto,
the first round, I don't love, and I don't know if there are any players on the Sixers that are not vaccinated, but they will not be able to play in Toronto.
As far as I know, I did a little digging, and I could not find any indication that there's. I did a little digging.
Nice.
And I could not find any information that led me to believe that there's any current Sixers that are not vaccinated that would not be eligible to play if they had to go to Toronto.
Tisk.
Yeah, friend of the show, Tim says, the Chicago Sci-Fi Nightmare. Have you seen this floating around on social media, like turning the Bulls logo upside down?
Oh, yeah, the crab thing? Ooh, yeah, not hot.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and not driving, go ahead and find a Chicago Bulls logo, turn it upside down, and it looks like a robot defiling a crab.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
we got real-time reaction from Nico here. Oh wow.
Well,
it's like it's time you watch that 2 Girls 1 Cup video.
What's that?
Oh, Gene.
I don't even want to get. I don't even know. I'm glad I didn't hear that joke. I don't even want to revisit it.
Yeah, you'll hear it tomorrow. And then you'll wonder, and then you'll immediately regret that decision because it's in there. Because that's the thing about thoughts and images. Once you see something like that, it's in there forever.
Yeah.
There's no going home.
Okay, moving on.
Thanks, Gene. Happy Easter.
Moving on from the Sixers.
Looks hot at the vet today, Gene. Looks
like
one of those burner days.
The sun is really shining.
Like we almost wish it would be cloudy.
I think they're sort of getting set up for baseball season. Some of the cutouts are open. You can sort of see the cutout there. It's open up. So
all right, listen. You want to talk about the Eagles trade?
Sunburn at the vet. Getting that good vet burn.
All right, guys.
There was a fight that we saw right around there. St. Joe's Prep, I think, something like that.
And Bonner.
I saw that guy with pants and mooned the entire stadium from that Coca-Cola, from right above that Coca-Cola sign in front of Fanavision.
Yeah.
True story. Took those pants all the way down to his ankle. It's crazy.
It's probably the only one in the
pants, or did he do a moon?
No, he hopped up. There's like a little ledge. It's about 3 feet wide, right at the bottom of that Fanavision, the one with the Coca-Cola sign. Mm-hmm. He hopped right up there. He took his pants down all the way to his ankles. All the way to the ankles, and hands up in the air.
Remember back when we thought that screen was like the most impressive screen in the history of screens? Fanavision was the epitome of visual entertainment that there was in the world, probably.
Well, we still call it Fanavision, right?
Fanavision, but it was Giants Eagles. I think it might have been one of the last times Randall Cunningham started for the Eagles. I think. And he got up there,
man. Go
Birds. He got up there and mooned.
Go Birds.
Mooning for Randall. Anyway.
Talk about the Eagles trade. Come on, guys. Talk about the Eagles trade. You like it, right?
Yeah, I think that's unanimous.
Yeah, what's there not to like? I mean, basically,
I don't know. Did you want 3 first-round picks this year?
I always knew they were going to deal one of them, right?
Yeah, I like the idea that we traded one for another. It's like, we sort of double dip next year. I like that it sort of gives us some Jalen Hurts proof.
So let's put it this way. Let's put it in a little
quarterback.
context. The pick that we traded, do you know which pick we traded?
Yeah. So
Carson Wentz pick?
Yeah. We traded the Colts pick. So at the end of the day, if nothing changes, here's what we got for Carson Wentz. We got a 2021 third-round pick. We got a 2022 third-round pick. We got a 2023 first-round pick and a 2024 second-round pick.
That's a great haul for a guy who's
basically out of the league.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you could go ahead then and subtract what we paid for it if you really want to get into the accounting of it and determine what the EBITDA was on Carson Wentz. But strictly from like that deal, that's everything we got back for Carson Wentz. And
as of today,
who knows? You may get.
Who knows what they turn that into? Draft.
Right. I mean, well, with Howie picking, it'll probably like be 2 Ortegas and a side of
and a Rager.
Side of Rager.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully, they get a shutdown corner.
I'll take a 44-ounce Ortega and a side of Rager.
The other thing I like about the trade is that you didn't let the Saints ahead of you in either of these picks. You are picking directly in front of the Saints in both of these situations.
Yeah, because
it's not like you can really worry about that being like, oh well, now the Saints got up ahead of you and they took your. Well, no, because we're
that's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. That's a good point.
You know, and you also didn't trade within the division. It's not like you gave it to Dallas or you didn't give it to the Giants. You know, the Giants would screw it up. The only team maybe that's worse than picking in the first round than the Eagles is the Giants.
The Saints are going to sit there and sniff our asses while
the Saints are going to be bad. So that first round pick could be really good next year. The Saints,
it could.
Who knows what that quarterback situation
so
is?
I mean, like it's just been a whirlwind of who your third favorite team is in the NFL. So it's your favorite team's the Eagles, your second favorite team's whoever's playing the Cowboys, and your third favorite team is, well, it was whoever was playing the Dolphins, then it was whoever's playing the Colts. Now it's going to be whoever's playing the Saints. So, you know, looks like you're going to have a rooting interest all over the board once again this year.
And the Saints, man, with the coaching change.
That was back in like Sixers time. Remember when we had like all those picks and it was like, oh, we got to root for this
Malcolm Jenkins.
But they're top 3 protected, so blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they don't do that nonsense in the NFL thing.
Eagles offseason, I mean, was sort of lackluster, and we're sitting here like the most exciting thing we did was trade picks for more picks, and we're all like, yeah.
Hey, dude, the draft hasn't happened yet. I feel like that's always the most exciting part of the offseason.
Picks for picks.
Is the draft, because Howie always has a way of making it interesting, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's the process in me. I'm excited for picks. I love it. Just keep.
So, I mean, do we think that now that there's just 2 picks in the first round, do you think it goes all defense? Do you think that or do you think it's a defender and a wideout? You know, Howie can't get away from those first round wideouts.
They just need a linebacker, man.
They need.
We signed 2 linebackers. That's all we've signed in the offseason.
Well, Riddick is like a hybrid linebacker edge.
Okay.
And he's going to play that way in Gannon's defense. He's going to kind of be a little.
I want a nasty middle linebacker.
A thumper.
I want a junkyard dog.
There's a couple of them in there.
Hey, did Tyrann Mathieu sign yet? There was some talk about us getting him. He had visited.
I didn't see anything come
the
across.
NovaCare complex last week. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, it might be interesting. You know, he hasn't. I don't know if he's made his decision yet.
Well, given our lack of depth at safety and corner, do you think the Eagles stand pat with where they're at with their picks, or do you think that they maybe package their picks and move up a little bit to grab one of the top tier cornerbacks like Sauce Gardner, whoever the other guy is, or do they move up a little bit further?
Are they projecting that he would be gone by 15?
They're projecting him to go around 10, 11, 12 is what I see.
Well, I mean, if you could take 15 and maybe a 2 and move up to 10 or something, it might be something worth having a conversation about.
What is this? What are you spinning here?
Are you talking to me? Or are you talking to Jake?
No, I'm talking to both of you.
Do we package the picks to move up to grab one of the top ends, quarterback or wide receivers in the draft? Or do we stand pat at 15?
To put a good, put a solid guy on the other side of Darius Slay,
I just think it's so many, like it's Swiss cheese. There's so many holes you got to fill. You might as well just keep both of the first round picks and get two usable players. Sorry, I was looking at something else.
So I mean, I'm looking
at my opinion.
If you can get 2 starters, if you can get 3 starters total out of this draft, I feel like it's a success. And whether it comes in one in the first round, one in the second, one in the third, whatever, but you need to get 3 starters out of this draft. That's what you need. If you're not going to sign anybody else,
our starters don't generally come out of the first round. Our starters usually come out of the 5th and 6th.
Yeah, we're like middle rounds. First round picks are usually in walking boots for like the first couple. Everybody,
hey, listen, we're going to go 4 for 4 today. We're going all 4 teams today. So I want to talk a little Flyers.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the Union.
No, the Unions, they're too great to be on this show. They're the best team in Philly. They're too great.
The Flyers are doing these days.
So I want to talk, what's your opinion on this Yandel streak and the way the Flyers ended it?
I don't know how the Flyers ended it. I just saw that it ended. What did the Flyers do to take him out of the game?
So
they're just like, don't play.
Keith Yandel has an Ironman NHL streak going of 989 games. The Flyers made him a healthy scratch.
A healthy scratch? Why? Did they need him to sit in the booth and watch from the whole team's not playing well. They're terrible.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what the debate is, right? I mean, look, I haven't watched a Flyers game probably in 3 months at least. But, this has been a subject of debate. And, he could have played. Do the Flyers owe him a damn thing?
Well, yeah, they owe him a little bit of dignity to be like, you call it. You're the Iron Man. You call it when you want to take your day off. So you never know. Maybe he was just like, all right, good, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
You got to give the player the choice in that situation, don't you?
Baltimore had a lot of really terrible seasons in the 90s, and there were a lot of times living where I live, there is sort of a little bit of bleed over with Orioles fans. Not a lot, but I do know more Orioles fans than I do Nationals fans, since I don't think Nationals fans really exist anyway. But when in the 90s there was a lot of discussion about, like, should Cal, the team's playing bad, should Cal sit down? And the general consensus was it's Cal's decision. I guess, when you get to a certain point in these Iron Man, situations, like Nico was saying, maybe you defer. There's a reason why the guy was able to get to 900 games in the first place. Like it's you're not untalented if you've played 900 consecutive games. You have to be able to say to the guy, look, play your way out of it. Unless there is a playoff game on the, a playoff piece on the line or something. But there's not, the Flyers not playing for anything in the standings. You might as well let the guy, it might be more interesting to watch a guy continue his streak than much of anything else on the ice.
Yandel 35 is an NHL worst -32 this season. His quote was, "You could tell the guys felt bad for me. They wanted me to play. They wanted me to keep it going, but it's part of the business. You have to understand what the team is doing here. Having to support the guys in there has been really, really special."
So do you think that, like, maybe they did talk to him and he's like, "Look, man, I can't."
I mean, he already has the record, so like what?
Like he has the actual record, like that is. I have no idea.
He has the record. He broke the record on January 25th. Originally,
there you go.
Original record holder was Doug Jarvis. 960.
It's not Jarvis.
Doug Jarvis. So yes, you're right. Correct. It's a soft J.
All right, enough Flyers talk. We don't know what we're talking about with this. We just have opinions.
All right. They're on the one.
Tim knows more about hockey than we do, and here's what he says. He says, "Fuck it, Yandel's barely an NHL player, even by Flyers standards." So that's that's not saying much.
That's the gavel right there.
Boom. Case closed. Let's move on to the Phillies.
Case closed.
So
what do we talk
is
about?
everyone excited about the Phillies season starting on Friday?
Dude, they just they announced the 40-man roster today.
Did
Was
they?
that today?
Yeah. Are you gonna read all 40 names?
No. Well, I can. Would you like me to?
So I know.
I money I could go through all 40 of those names and pronounce each of them correctly.
Okay. All right, we're not doing that. Is
Well,
Stoddy on the 40 man?
Stoddy. Is that what they're gonna call him? Is that his nickname? Stoddy?
I don't know. I mean, I know you like hockeyifying these names. So
I love the nicknames.
I don't know if would Stoddy be the appropriate.
Stoddy's on.
Stoddy's on.
And they're keeping Bohm too.
Bohmy
and Stoddy.
The sex Bohm.
It's adorable. All right. So wait, hold on a second.
Any other surprises? Any other surprises?
Surprises? I don't think so. I think Camargo, I think, is on.
Camargo made it too, huh?
What are they doing with Mickey Mouse Moniak?
Moniak's on.
He's got to be there. He's got to be.
He's got a heck of a spring.
Because Odubel's staying in Florida.
Yeah, right.
Where he belongs.
He's going to be up to.
So would you straight platoon? Mickey and Matt?
Veerling? I think so. I think you have to.
Straight platoon?
Straight platoon.
All right.
So
I'm at the point where I think I might start the Moniak every day.
I mean, if he's swinging a white hot stick.
You got to ride it, right?
Yes, absolutely. And you know how baseball is, man. It's all about
Big Mo.
He's gonna be hitting down there at like the 8 or 9, right? You know, you can take a little risk there.
I love seeing the young faces. I just hope it pans out from a defensive perspective. And I know everybody's banging that drum, but you know, I'd be interested to see. So Stoddy and Dee and Jeannie and Huskies.
I thought it was Rhys.
Rhys. That's right. Rhys.
All right. Look, I don't want to steal. I don't want to steal too much of Gene's thunder because I know he puts a lot of hard work into this every year.
It is one of my favorite things to do every year.
Oh wait, am I about to witness? Is this a segment? Is this a?
It is a segment. It's a thing. It's a bit.
Yeah, we're bringing in Riverboat Gene, and his Phillies prop bets. Riverboat Gene back on the show. Hello, Riverboat Gene.
All right, we gotta do more of that stuff. We gotta do more of that. I love Riverboat Gene.
More Photoshop.
That's
what you need.
Sorry.
Step right up.
The house always wins.
Place your bets.
Place
your bets.
Oh yeah, sure. After this, I'm gonna go take a
don't say you guys need to do more of this stuff. You say we
right, yeah, yeah, the regal we. Yeah, I mean that was some high quality MS Paint action right there.
I'll tell you what. After this, I'm gonna go see a Broadway show.
I'm on PowerPoint, guys. This is a PowerPoint slide.
So every year we like to do the Philly. I mean, basically the show was sort of born in the cauldron of the Gabe Kapler era, which God. You know, it was so fun to do some over-unders back in the day with Gabe, you know, the gallons of coconut oil that he would go through, you know, whatever.
So lubed up, fresh.
That guy was real slick.
I mean, that thing you could land a plane on that thing. It's so slick.
So what I did here for this year's Phillies over-unders, which I'm glad we were able to get this in before the season started, I broke some down there, some team numbers, and then I've got some individual numbers. And so I'm going to do, I think, probably the headline over-under. Now, I did not look at the Vegas lines. This is strictly Riverboat Gene coming up.
He runs his own lines maker. I love
my own thing. I don't ask for help. I do look up major league records occasionally, and I look up past statistics, but I don't ask Vegas for help. Those
I'm going
guys.
to log these so we can revisit.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, I've got 'em saved.
will you pop up the graphic every time the bet comes out, like after each bet? I'm going to River
Sure.
The house wins again. A lot of these we won't know till September, but all right. So here's a good one. Total wins for the Philadelphia Phillies. I set it at 81.5. Over or under? What would you
go
bet?
with the over.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go over 2. Last year we won 83?
Yeah, I think we were one game over 500.
84? I think it was probably 84. So it was, yeah, I got to take the over. I mean, the team's certainly better than it was last year. I mean, if the biggest problem is the bullpen, you've addressed that at least in the piece of Knievel and with the return of Sir Anthony Dominguez, and you kind of have some like-for-like swaps with, Brad Hand and Familia. Yeah, I think the team's over, and the offense is certainly much better. You can talk about defense, but I don't know. Defense is whatever. Just make the plays you're supposed to make, and I don't need you to make extra plays. So I think over is good.
So speaking of offense, the Phillies have what could be a legendary offense. So
27 Yankees. Here we come.
Probably better than them. Those guys didn't have a DH.
Bunch of clowns.
Team home runs. Total home runs for the entire Phillies team. I set the over-under at 214.5.
What did they do last year?
0.5. All right. So we're going to have to break it down here because this is
I don't know what they did last year. I sort of looked at the lineup, did some rough estimates, took the rest of the lineup, did some math, called a couple friends. Yeah,
did what?
That's a lot of home runs.
Math.
A lot of home runs.
A lot of home runs. So if we said, let's say all those guys hit 30.
And Harper, you're looking at.
Well, let's say all those guys hit 30, right?
30.
Harper, Castellanos, Schwarber, and Hoskins all hit 30. They're not going to, but let's say.
What about JT? He could put 30 over the fence.
Yeah, JT. That's not. I don't know. I'm probably going to go under. It feels like an under to me.
What is it? 214.5.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you have 5 hitters right there that you're projecting to carry out of a 40-man roster, so
this is a big question. How many dingers will Bryce hit over under?
Well, I have. Do we want to do before we give our total here? Do we want to go through? I have some guys that I've got home run over unders for that I've sort of set.
This is the 0.5 kills me. I don't know where to go.
Yeah,
I think that was the half home run.
14.5.
I think Toe had a home run last year.
I'm trying to avoid pushes, man. You don't want to.
No, but I know because you got. I mean, like Didi. What if Didi has a year where he hits 20, 22?
Well, I will tell you. In my calculation, I had 2 guys at 35, 2 guys at 30, and then I think 4 guys at 25.
Yeah, I'll go under on the home runs.
Nico, what do you think?
I'm going to go under on the home runs too, because I'm usually wrong about this kind of stuff.
But do you think they maybe break 200 though?
I definitely do think that they can break 200.
Yeah. So
what is the world? Like, what is the MLB record for most home runs in a season for a team that is not doesn't have Barry Bonds on it?
Well, I mean, I'm sure
it's going to be crazy. It's going to be like crazy steroid stuff. So, all right, forget it. I'll just say under.
The Minnesota Twins,
307.
2019 hit 307.
Yeah, that's insane. That's a crazy number.
So then, when you think about it that way, then
Barry Bonds was not on that team.
No, I know.
Put me down for the over. Put me down for the over.
You go the over, Nico. Okay, you go. All right, we'll have a little differentiation there.
And then you think about all of the, the distribution of kind of like the singles and double type guys.
It's funny I said under because I told my son the other day if we were driving the Sixers game, he was like, "What does over under mean?" And I was explaining it to him, and I was like, "Never bet the under. If you bet the under, you hate fun."
It's Sure.
Just don't bet it. If you want to bet the under, just don't bet it because it's no
Right.
fun watching like against everyone.
Things not to come out your way.
Yeah.
Unless you're talking about golf. Maybe bet the under in golf.
Okay.
Gene.
So, one more team number.
yeah.
I think I got one more team number.
Okay, what do you got?
I got a couple more team numbers.
She's gonna be like over under strikeouts 734.5.
I did not do that number.
No
that
more
would have made me sad. I did do team errors. Team errors.
Oh, okay.
Team errors for the year is 209.5.
209.5. Okay.
And I will tell you, I got that number. The number came from the major league record, 210. 210 for errors in a year.
Oh, so will we be a historically
Will we
team?
break the record for team errors in a season?
That is 1 point. That's like 1.3 errors per game.
Yeah.
I like that. Hey guys, let's put up a crooked number tonight.
We got to catch up. We're lagging behind the pace.
I don't want that record, but it makes sense that we would get that record.
Tim, I'm going to put you down for the over. Okay, I'll put Tim down for over.
You can put me down for the over too. Thanks, Tim. Reinforcement.
You guys, I will say under. I think they will make the lame ass plays that they're supposed to make, and they will not. There will be no like fielding above replacement level on this team. Obviously, there's not going to be defensive runs saved or anything like that above normal, but I'm going to have faith that on most occasions they're going to be able to make the play that they're supposed to make. But that's a good one, Gene. I like how it's
nice one, Gene.
I like it's like the MLB record is sitting right there.
Right there for us. We can get it.
I will say Stott being in the lineup will make me feel better than having both Bohm and Didi on the field at the same time.
At the rough left side
of the field, no less.
And if Didi is actually healthy compared to what he was if he was in fact injured last year, if he's feeling better this year, I think the plays will be there. Segura's excellent defensive. I think he's like a +9. So, maybe the left side of the infield will be okay.
And I think Hoskins catches. He'll catch a ball.
He's not a good fielder. Yeah. He will not save errors from other people. That's for sure.
Right. Yes.
Very often.
All right. So here's some individual numbers. Let's do a couple home run numbers first. Bryce Harper. I have the home run number at 34.5. I think 34. Our friend Brett said 37.5.
I'm going to go over too.
All right.
Just gonna
optimistic on Harper's number. Sticking with Harper. Last year he had 84 RBIs, I think, or 83 RBIs. So I set it at 83.5. Do you think that Harper gets more RBIs than he did last year?
Yes.
Over.
So if he puts up both of those numbers, we're talking about possibly another MVP year. I'm just saying.
We are.
Yeah, well, he's got so much more protection this year than he has last year. If everybody's
I mean,
it's gonna
if health, if the health is there, the RBI total is definitely going to be over. I mean, he's going to have way more guys on base this year than he did last year.
Schwartz is a good on base percentage guy, and he's going to be leading off.
Yeah, the lineup will be correct. There's not going to be like weird Odubel leading off.
Scott Kingery.
Not that Schwarber is a prototypical leadoff guy, but like you just need to get the base pads gooey. I mean, like get people out there, get it messy.
We want to have Harper hit a lot less solo home runs this year.
Right. Exactly. And if there's guys on base and Harper's up and Castellanos is behind him, it's just a mess. It's just a nightmare. And if this team, I think, it's gonna be like. I hope it's the Yankee way, where it's deep counts, a lot of guys on the base pads, we're taking our walks, chasing starters out in the fifth. I love that stuff. Yep. I love it. Counts. Get us into the bullpen. Let these guys mash. I love everybody. It's gonna be the best summer in a decade.
Speaking I love the way that you're talking right now. Love it. No, I'm serious, man. Absolutely.
Good. This is I'm gonna tell my son this is the team you wait your whole life for. You're 12 years old.
Yeah, this is perfect timing for him.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of Castellano, His home runs, 31.5. You think he's going to go bigger than 31.5?
Home runs? That's going to be tough.
31.5.
I mean, out of your cleanup hitter, you don't think he can crack 32, 33?
I don't know if he's cemented in that role. What do you guys think? Do you guys think he's in the 4-hole all year? Just lock it in.
I think it's going to depend on how
probably.
Hoskins goes. Hoskins might be able to do a little cleanup if he's really raking.
4, 5, 6.
I think left right almost locks him in as following Harper. It almost locks it in. I can't really.
And Harper's going to be the 3. I think that you can put in ink.
Yeah.
Put it in a tattoo on your calf next to the Tasmanian devil.
The same way that you used to be able to put down Chase Utley and
I'll go over. All
right.
I'll go. I don't think Castellanos. Well, I mean Castellanos. What did he hit last year? Do you know?
I don't know.
Part of your research. Do you know?
I'll get you. Well,
Nico's doing a little digging.
We need like research music, like.
Yeah, give me like no wait, now who am I looking up here? I should know. Let's be honest, I should know him because we have the same name. 30? Damn, Riverboat Gene had led so long only the floor kept them from going on forever. 34 home runs for Nick.
34.
All right, I'm definitely going over.
All right,
he had some good protection last year. I mean, Winker was good.
For that guy.
India was good. Votto obviously was very good.
Votto was very good last year. How about Schwarbs? I've got him at 29.
So Nico, gotta get you on the books here. You taking over or under on
over
31 and a half.
Oh, I'm gonna go over as well.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Schwarber, 32 dingerlingers.
Schwarbs, I've got at 29.5.
29.
I'm taking the under. 30.
Yeah, let's go over.
I'm going under.
White stick.
Oh.
You going over, Nico?
I'm going over.
I'm thinking under on Schwarber.
Phillies.
I think he's going to be hitting leadoff a lot. That's going to give him a different kind of set of priorities, as opposed to if he was hitting in the middle of the lineup. And I think he gets injured a bit, so you're gonna find spans of time that he's not going to be available. So I'm going to go under on 29.5 home runs for Schwarbs.
Nico went over.
Phillies had 30. What if they had 5 players with 35 plus home runs?
That would be epic. That's a playoff.
Unprecedented.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of optimism that I'm feeling about this lineup.
Okay, I like it.
Here's my next one.
Gene, do you have any more?
This is not a home run total, but this is Rhys Hoskins. Do you think that he can get to 79.5 RBIs?
Rhys Hoskins? I don't think so.
He did not break 80 RBIs last year.
I'm going to take the under.
Can he do it now?
I wish I could take the over, but I'm going to take the under.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards the under too because he's probably going to be hitting second.
I feel like he's going to be second or seventh.
I think he hit 6th today.
I think he would be, but if he's going to be lower in the lineup, he's going to go between Didi and Real Muto. That would be my thing.
Yeah, I'm going to go under 2 because I think that there's going to be
a little bit of a drop off there in the bottom half of the order.
Well, yeah, I think there's going to be days where he may sit. I think there's going to be days where he may be
the DH
injured a little bit. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that gets on Hoskins. I think he's susceptible to these cold streaks. Yeah, I think 80 is about his number, so I guess I'll just take it under just for variety. All right, good one, Gene.
Alec Boehm, how many games played as a Philadelphia Philly this year? I have it set at 90.5.
Ooh, I might take the under on that, depending on how well Stotty does. Stotty.
When you say games played,
as a Philadelphia Philly, yeah.
Like
does that
pitch hitting count?
Does just appearing in the game counts?
Yeah. Just my thought process being, does he survive the trade deadline?
Well, he's either going to be
He might play-
good and you're not going to want to. He's either going to be good and you're not going to want to trade him, or he's going to be bad and then you can't.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if you want to, if you're gonna trade a guy like Alec Boehm, right now is when you would trade him.
Oh well.
I don't know what kind of value.
I think his value's low right now.
Like a tough starter sitting up
He
the
didn't
bench.
lock down his own position. That's
I'll take over. I'll take over. Just
Dave's the optimist, thinking he's going to be.
I'm bullish on Boehm.
Bullish on
Boehm with a bounce back.
I think there's going to be lots of at bats for Stoddy anyway. Nico, what do you think? You think that he's more
I'm
than
not
90
bullish
games?
on Boehm. I'm bullish on Stoddy, and I think Stoddy's going to take Boehm's spot in the lineup in the everyday, and then Boehm's going to be kind of, spot starter utility. Maybe Boehm gets a couple cracks at DH, but I don't know. I just don't see a role for Boehm on the team right now unless somebody gets injured.
So taking a whole year into account now, Stoddy makes the lineup. He had a blistering white stick in the spring. White hot?
Where were you on Boehm?
Me? Where am I on Boehm?
No, Boehm. Were you over or under 90.5?
Me?
Yeah.
Nico.
Are you making your point right now?
Oh. No, Nico, what do you think?
Oh, I'm straight up under.
Under. Okay.
Nico's under.
Thanks.
I'm setting the lines. I am an unbiased.
I'm asking you, Gene.
I'm the unsilent majority, as they said, as Paulie said.
Riverboat Gene.
Stott, batting average. He's not going to continue to hit 500, but do we think for the year he can be over 285, or do you think he's under 285 for the year?
I think he's under. I think he ends up under.
Wow. Everybody under 285. They think when he starts to see real pitching, he doesn't keep it up.
Yeah,
all right.
That's the easiest one you had.
Easiest one of the year. All right, some pitching numbers.
Oh my gosh.
Nola wins. Right. Nola wins 9.5.
Next up, blood types.
Nola wins 9.5.
I'm going with the over.
Over. He's getting the run support.
Wheeler 10.5.
Wait. You said over, Nico?
Over.
Okay. All right.
You know what? I don't even know what the question is, Gene. I'm going to say over again.
Okay.
Wheeler 10.5 wins.
Oh yeah, over.
Zach Eflin 7.5 wins.
Over. He's going to be a 15-game winner this year.
Screw it. Yeah, over.
He's going to be a 15-game winner.
God, this line, the starting the five is going to be.
I mean, you look at the 1993 Phillies. All five starters had 10 wins.
Yeah, even
it's not.
They had the run support, white stuff right up their nose.
Bullpen saves. So not just
just whatever.
Bullpen saves 39.5.
Oh.
Bullpen says 39.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the under on that.
So it's a collective, the whole team saves.
The bullpen,
it's gonna be so prolific that there aren't gonna be as many save opportunities because they're gonna be blowing them out. No?
That's a good one. That's a good one. So Nico, you're saying under, right?
I'm saying under.
I'll say over. Whatever.
Bullpen blown saves 28.5.
Under. I'm
up. Under. Come on.
Under.
All right, and here's my favorite one that I picked. This is my favorite one. Playoff wins for the Philadelphia Phillies. I set the number at 1.5. 1.5.
I'm taking the over. We're getting to the playoffs and we're gonna win.
So you're gonna have you're either gonna win the division. So you're saying if they're a wild card team, they win their wild card game.
That's what the line is saying.
And win a game.
Dave, didn't you just say like 2 minutes ago that this was the greatest team?
Yeah, I know.
And you're like,
I know, but I'm a beat down man. All right, over.
Poor
Dave takes the over. Nico takes the over. This team is playoff bound. They're going to win games in the playoffs.
We're getting to the dance.
Dodgers.
Take a couple of turns.
Hey, listen. We got one more though.
Yeah, what's that? Wow. I didn't write any more.
Yacht Club Dave is here.
Oh, Yacht Club Dave. Oh, thank God he's here.
I have
with the
another
fans here.
over under for you.
What is that?
Over under 7 different players. Well, we'll say 6.5 to go with Gene's theme. 6.5 different players start at third base.
Oh, wow. Mm.
Wait, how many? What's the over under?
6.5.
7 different guys started third base.
So you got like Bohm, Camargo,
Stott.
Stott, Gregorius, Castellanos might play there. You might
Dwarf
see
might even get a crack.
Torreyes. And then, who knows? Maybe another guy. I don't know.
I'm going to go over. I'm going
to go under in hopes that they can finally find some consistency.
They might even get Kingery up and throw him at third base.
Wouldn't he like
Those
that?
errors have to come from somewhere, Nico, if we're going to make it.
Well
they can't
played,
all come from shortstop.
Well played, Gene. Hey, you know what? Can I be inflatable raft Nico and say
dirigible?
Dirigible.
All right. Well, look, this was a fun one. That is all the time we have for today. I had a bunch of other things to talk about, but I guess we'll save it for a later date.
Dave's poetry corner.
It's
the haiku.
It's spoken word night.
Hey, don't mess with me in haikus, man. I'll give you a 5.75 real quick.
All right, we're off next week. I'm out at Hilton Head. I hope you guys have a great spring break. Hope you have a lovely Easter.
We'll have real Phillies baseball to talk about when you get back.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'll be on the road on Friday. What time's the game on Friday? 3?
I think it's 3:35 or something.
3:05. 3:05 start.
3:35.
3:35.
Oh, 3:05. You're right. 3:05.
3:05. Yeah, I'll be on the road there, so I'll be listening to them on my Sirius XM radio.
Very little is going to be getting done at work after 3:05 on Friday.
Yeah. Much delay, so but we'll be listening every game. Phillies back, man. Love it.
Can't wait.
Let's go. So, all right, we got to do the thing. So we'll be back in 2 Tuesdays. If you haven't done so already, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search Podadelphia. If you have any more time in your podcast listening day, be sure to check out the Whip Around for all the week's weird news. Check out the Philly Sports Alliance on Facebook. Check out the Painted Lines on YouTube for wall-to-wall Philly sports coverage. You listen, until we meet again, have a great day at work, everybody. We are out of here.